Okay, good morning and welcome to Just Daf It, the Daf Yevamos here with the one, the only, Benny Lang, Ben Sion Lang. My Hebrew name is Ben Sion, my English name is Benny. My parents on my birth certificate actually wrote the name Benny. Can you believe it? Benny? Come on. I have to walk around for the rest of my life being known as Benny. TSA, the airport. Benny? I mean, it's embarrassing. Benny, I think, is the number one name for Jewish pizza stores. Benny's Pizza. There's about 100 Benny's Pizza. That's what my fame is for. Also in Israel, Benny's a very popular name. The guy Benny Gantz, who was almost prime minister here. I have a cousin named Benny in Israeli. So I have a lot of people that I can look to for consolation, but they're mostly Israelis. I'm American. I mean, me and my brother-in-law discussed, um, he was saying, "You're American, you're American." I'm Israeli. I said to him, listen, the truth of the matter is, right now, the strongest country in the world is America. Maybe one day it'll be Israel, but right now, America is the strongest country in the world. So I'm an American, you're an Israeli, so I'm better than you. Of course, I live in Eretz Yisrael. I'm a Kaim, mitzvahs yeshivas, Eretz Yisrael, yeshivas, Eretz Yisrael. So I have the Milo also, the mitzvah yeshivas Eretz Yisrael, but I'm really American, so I'm stronger than you. Anyway, I don't know why I'm talking about this. We have an exciting daf for you today. Daf Nun Aleph 51. This technically is the 50th daf of Yevamos. It's connected Shavuos, which is the 50th day of the Omer. It's exciting. It's really exciting. We're on 51 daf in Masechus Yevamos. Most of my 50,000 listeners have listened to at least 49 of the daf in its entirety. So if you haven't listened to that last daf, make sure wherever you missed it to pick up your YouTube, pick up your smartphone, log into your YouTube account, and watch like in action. Best year in the world. Listen, even people who were my biggest critics in the beginning said critical things. Not that they wanted to be critical, but they obviously felt there were problems with my Daf Yomi share. Still, people are very critical of my channel about other videos that I make. I haven't got so much positive feedback, and I have not been one of the most successful channels on YouTube, that's for sure. I'm lingering with around 550 with somewhat subscribers at this point. It's very sad. I've been on for a year and a half, but it takes time to grow, to get your name out there. And I think that if you watch me enough, I have a variety of videos. I make funny videos. I have podcasts. I've started a podcast. Which Jewish person doesn't have a podcast these days? Even Rabbi Ephraim Waxman still has a podcast. A big rabbi from Muncie. So everyone's got a podcast. I've got Daf Yomi Shir, Mishnah Shir, podcasts. We're talking about glad kosher money. Do Haredim who eat glad kosher, the most glad kosher achsher, especially here in Israel, do they treat their hilchos dine mumnis with the same level of glad kosher? How do they deal with money? I mean, I think the whole world wants to know, how does Haredi culture finance itself without people working? The majority of people not working, or at least encouraged not to work. How does it work? How does it work out? Where do they have the money to buy even the basic necessities? They're making less than minimum wage in their kollel, a lot less than minimum wage. Their wives are home with 11 kids. How do you do it? How does it happen? And we are going to investigate this and find this out. Figure out how it works. Glad kosher money. If they're being machmir on the hechsherim, are they being machmir on dinei mamanis? Or is there some kulas they're relying on? Or some isurim? I don't know, but it's very exciting. It's very thought-provoking. And hopefully we have at least one guest who's already been on the podcast. And I have a couple other more guests that I know from my society over here that would make great candidates to be on this podcast. So, anyway, we have exciting stuff on this channel. I don't know why people are not subscribed. Like I said, I have a lot of critics. People that are close to me have been very critical of my channel. But recently I have got some positive feedback, at least with my Daf It share. They said it's better than Eli Stefanski. It's better. Eli Stefanski is the gold standard. Thought he was the gold standard. If he's gold, I'm platinum. I'm diamond. I'm the diamond jubilee. Even though I'm only just turned 40 years old. I don't think that's diamond jubilee. 75 is diamond jubilee. So it's exciting. I give a best share. I give a better share than the best share. That would make me the best share. So if you have watched Eli Stefanski and you haven't watched me, watch me, because even my biggest critics tell me that I'm better, I'm clearer. I do a shorter share. I'm clearer than Eli Stefanski, and of course I'm a lot funnier. And I have a better personality. And I have better socks than Eli Stefanski also. One day you get to see my socks. All right, let's start from the bottom over here. Last two words on Nun Amud Beis. I'm a Rava, returning to Nun Aleph and Mud Aleph at the top. My time with the Gamliel, with Machlokes, the Mishnah, Gamliel, the Gamliel says, this is really what they argue at. Ein Gerach or Get, Ein Maimer or Maimer. Gamliel's famous Shita. It says, if you have two Yevamos, one Yavam, and he has two co-wives fall to him from his deceased brother, does get to one. So that get is effective only regarding the first one. He does another get, he gives a get to the second one. That get is of no significance. It doesn't answer the krovos anymore. Of course, you need a chalitza to dissolve it. One chalitza would suffice for both of them. Same thing if you do mimer and mimer. You do mimer to one, mimer to the other. The second mimer is ineffective. You don't need a get for that mimer. You don't need to get rid of that mimer. All you need to do is a get for the first mimer and a chalitza to remove both of these women from the contract of the chalitza. And therefore, you're not usher in the krovos of the shnia because it was an ineffective mimer. Okay, let's get back. It's my time, Gamliel. Masafkel, get. What's the reason, Gamliel? Rabbanan argue. They say yesh get yesh mimer mimer. We're gonna try to figure out what is the logic behind this. The Gamliel Masafkel get idaki lo daki. He's not sure if a get is docha. Make this lectern a little lower over here. He doesn't know if a get is docha lo dachi, right? He's not sure if a get pushes away, right? A get prevents a yibum, right? Once you do a get to a yevama, you can no longer do yibum to her. You have to do chalitza because it sort of rejects. I would explain the lum just like I always say. There's two kinyan. There's a kinyan yibum and a kinyan nisuin. A get is no relation to a kinyan yibum. Yibum meaning chalitza. But for the kinyan nisuin, it is effective. So therefore, he rejects her from a kinyan for being his wife. Kinyan nisuin. Once you reject her from being a wife, that's it. You have to do chalitza. You can't marry her anymore. He's not sure if get pushes away or doesn't push away. Maimer kani lo kani is a maimer was kona or it's not kona. He's not sure. Geti daki lo daki kama daki. If it is kona, if it does push you away, kama daki basra maikov. He pushed away the first wife. So what is he doing to the second wife? There's no reason to push her away. You already pushed away the concept of yibum over here. Ikama lo daki, basra nami lo daki. If the first one is ineffective, the second one is ineffective. So therefore, the second one never has any significance, right? If the first one is effective and the second one has no significance after the first one, whatever get does, repeating the get in the second one, is inconsequential. Mimer, ikani, lo kani, not sure if it's kani or not kani, ikama kani, if he's kani the first tivama, first co-wife, kani basra maikov, what's he doing with the second mimer? It's ineffective. You can only be bona one bias. Ikama lo kani, basra nami lo kani, if mimer is completely ineffective. So therefore, the second one's also ineffective. Abaye asked the following question, what are Gamliel sheish get achar mimer? Well, mimer achar again, he holds that he is moda, that if you do mimer to one and then get to the second one, they both take effect. They both have consequences, and similarly to get to the first one, mimer after that it works. But get achar bio mimer, and also get works after bio mimer. Let's say you did mimer, you have three co-wives. Mimer to one, bia to the second, get to the third, or mimer achar bio. Get first you do get Then you do bia, and then you mimer to the third. You masafel the Gamliel. If Gamliel holds the suffix, they have it bia del charchila, betikni. Right, in these last two cases where bia was done to the second woman, right, after either a get or a mimer. So if he's not sure, so the bia should be like a bia lechalchila v'tikni d'hasnan abila b'zman shi b'tchila ein achoreach klum. Right? We should treat the bia as the first thing being done because, right? Let's say the first thing done was a get to the first wife, so he's not sure if that is a get. It pushes away or doesn't push away the Yevamos. So if it pushes it away, so then the bia, even if it pushes away, if it does nothing, so then the bia for sure is l'chatchila. The bia with the second one should be a good yibum. You can marry the second one. If it does do something, so then at least it's a bia psula, right? It pushes away, but at least it's a bia psula, right? It pushes away, but not completely, a bia psula. And it should be konat partially, at least, to bia psula. I'm sorry. If the get pushes away, so the bia should be ineffective legamre. If the get pushes away the entire nisuin, so the bia which consummates the nisuin, should be pushed away legamre. And how could there be bia achar haget? How could there be bia achar haget? So the Gemara says, Elam Rabbi Lolam Pshitale Largamliel beget the Dachki Maimer the Kani. He holds it is Pasha Gamliel that get does push away Maimer is Kona Miyu Emaraban and Hayavama Bachad Sad Mahani Baget. But Bachad Sad Mahani Bamai, when there's get to one and Maimer to the other, so get works in its own range, right? It rejects the Nisuit. A Maimer works in his own range to accept the Kinyan Yibum, right? Get achar get lo daki the hadachale kama. But a get after a get is ineffective because you already were pushed away the first wife. So there's nothing to be pushed away. Maimer achar maimer lo koni the hakoni le kama. You're koni the first one. You can't be koni shnei batim. Get achar maimer or maimer achar get. High milsa kadaki, high milsa kadaki. Kakani, with one wife, with one co-wife, you were koni her with the maimer, and with the other one you pushed her away. So they're unrelated to each other. So therefore you can have maimer achar get achar maimer, but you can't have get achar get or maimer achar maimer. Rabbanan, what do the Rabbanan say? Kol chad v'chad takin le Rabbanan get a maimer of Yevamos. The Rabbanan hold that you're right. Technically, there shouldn't be get achar get because if it's kona, which it is, or it's docha, so the second one is ineffective. But the reason it's effective, there was masakin. The Rabbanan, both in a case of yavam echad and shtei yevamos, one yavam and two co-wives, he has the potential to do maimer and get with both wives. And similarly, if there's two yavam and two brothers and only one yavam, also they're masakin for each brother to do a maimer and a get. That's part of the akana. We're going to get into the svar of the Rabbanan, which we hold like. They hold like the Rabbanan, not like Gamliel, that there is maimer, maimer, and there's get. What is the nature of maimer, and what is the nature of get? Really specifically, we're going to deal with what is the nature of maimer. What is maimer accomplish? Why did the Rabbanan do it, and why is it effective, and how is it effective, and what is the nature of it? We're going to talk about that. In Ian Ben Sion, you don't want to miss it. You're going to have to watch the end of this video. After this video is over, check out the next video, Ian Ben Sion. Alright, so the Gemara says, Rabbanan, right? So the Gemara says, "V'hai bia psula adifa maimer." Right? Now, again, if you do get or maimer and you do a bia afterwards with another wife, with a co-wife, it's called a bia psula, right? It's not a full bia because you already did something with the other wife. It can't effectuate a yibum. It's a bia psula, it's a lacking. But in one way, it's better than maimer, and in one way, maimer is better than it. I bia psula adifa mi maimer. It's better than maimer. Grim mi maimer. It's worse than maimer. Adifa mi maimer. Dilo maimer achar maimer. Lo mahani. Maimer after maimer. According to Gamliel, it doesn't work. Vilu bia achar maimer mahani. Bia after maimer. We said in the brisa above that it would work technically because it's a bia psula, but it works. It works to that if you have a get after that, the get is considered valid after that. The third co-wife, and therefore you be usher the krovos of the get or the gerushin. So it does work. It's better than maimer. The griyam in maimer, it's worse than maimer. Dilu maimer achar get. Maimer after get. Kani lakule shiura the get. If you give a get to one, and maimer to the second one, and maimer to the second one, it's completely effective. Dilu maimer achar get lo kanya le lakule shiura the get. If you give a get to one and then bia to the second one, that bia is not kona really too much in the second Yevama, or even with one Yevama, you do get to her and then bia to it. So even though it's called a bia psula, but it doesn't effectuate the same status as a mimer. Tanaraban, Ketzad Amar Gamliel, ain't got get. We're going to explain now in more detail on Gamliel Shita. How does he hold ain't get? Shtei Yevamos Shnafel in the Yavam Echad. Two co-wives fall in front of one brother. And Nasan get Lazuva get. Lazuva gives a get to each of them. Gamliel Omer Cholitz Rishon Asur Krovoseh. He has to do Chalisa the first one, the one he gave the first get to, and he's also in the Krovos. So Mutter B'Krovos Shnia, and therefore since the get to the second one is ineffective, it's like he did nothing. So therefore he's Mutter B'Krovos Shnia. Chamom Rimim Nasan get Lazuva get Lazu. Asur B'Krovos Shteyan. You're out to the both Krovos because you gave a get to both of them, right? If you could get to two wives, a wife, you're also in the Krovos. Chalisa Lachas, man. You only do the Chalisa one of them because the Chalisa patters from the whole construct, patters the Sorah. V'chein Omer B'Shnei Yevamim Yevama Achas. Same thing would apply if you have two brothers and only one wife falling for Yibum. Ketzad. How would be the case? He holds two Yevamim, two co-wives that fell in front of one brother. Also, Maimer Bezu Maimer. If he does Maimer to each one, Nosin Gal Rishon B'Chol Itzlam. He gives a get to the first one. This Chalisa. Also, B'Krovos Sal. Mutter B'Krovos Shnia. Your mutter the Krovos Shnia. It was ineffective. The Maimer to the second wife was completely ineffective. There's no reason for a get. And the Chalitza, the first one pattered, or Shnia, you have to give a get to both of them. The Maimer, the second was effective. Also, Chalitza Lachas Mehed. Of course, you only do Chalitza one of them because Chalitza of one patters the other co-wife, but because you gave a get to both of them, so therefore you're also in the Krovos, the mother, sister, and daughter. Again, it would apply in the opposite case where you'd have two brothers and only one Yavam. Amar Mar, noticing get Lazu, and Leo Omer Cholos Rishon of Asur Krovoseh, Mutter Krovos Shnia. He says over there you only do one Chalitza, right? Lame would have it to the Shmuel. Say it's a Gamliel is disproving Shmuel's axiom. The Amar Shmuel calls the bias Aget Lo Nifter Asara. Shmuel holds that if you do Chalitza to you give a get, you have two Yevamos, right? Two co-wives. You give a get to one, and you do Chalitza to her. It's called, we learn on Daf Lam and Laman Aleph, called Chalitza Psula, in the third paragraph, I think. Chalitza Psula, it's a deficient Chalitza. You gave a get to her, so you partially rejected it already without doing a Chalitza. Then you do Chalitza to her. It's Chalitza Psula, Lo Nifter Asara. It's a weak Chalitza. It doesn't pocket the Sara. You have to do another Chalitza to the Sara also. Explicitly in this price, you only do one chalitza. Shmuel would answer, I was only saying my statement according to the one who holds there is Zika. Shammai maybe holds Yesh Zika. Yesh Zika means automatically there is a Zika. There automatically is a connection. I wanted to say Zika means a Kinyan Yibum automatically without doing anything as a Kinyan Yibum. So therefore, if you give a get, so then you really you ruined. It was a really bad. You ruined what was there. There was already a king yibum. You gave a get, so you really ruined that. So therefore, really, the chalitza done after that is really psula. It's really a bad chalitza. So therefore, I'm part of the sarah. Leo sarah and zika, and Leo holds the chalitza would be effective. The chalitza psula would be effective the part of the sarah because the ain zika, and zika is not so effective. It's not a really bad Chalitza. I mean, Gamliel Savra ain't Zika. Gamliel holds ain't Zika. The Gemara wants to suggest. We found that Gamliel must hold there's no Zika in order to accommodate him with the opinion of Shmuel. We would assume that that's the Machlokas. Gamliel and the Rabbanan. Rabbanan Savra is Zika. Rabbanan would hold on our Mishnah that there is Zika. Ksani Seifa, we have a problem with this. That's a problem. Seifa, this price says, the Rabbanan would say the same thing with two Yavam and two brothers, and one Yavama, only one wife of the deceased brother falling to them. There's going to be a problem with another Amora, Rab Rav Huna, Amar Rav, and say name of Rav, Amar Rav or Huna Rav. They said the name of Rav. Chalitza psula, sricha lachzer kolach, and if you do the chalitza psula, it's ineffective. You have to go, and all the brothers, right? There's 4 or 5 brothers, and one Yavama falls to them. So if you do a chalitza psula, I mean one brother gives a get to her, and then does a chalitza after giving the get. So that's called a chalitza psula. It's only effective the chalitza vis-a-vis that brother, but regarding the other brother, you'll have to do the chalitza. This Bryce doesn't say that. This is one of the Rabban, and that chalitza patters the Sarah, so it must be not like Rabbi Rav Huna. And that's in Shitas Rabbanan, right? We could say Gamliel holds Geir Zika, but Rabbanan don't hold Zika. Like, my answer is Beilan Gamliel, Beilan Rabbanan, Savri, and Zika. Rabbi Huna's name of Rab would have to say that even the Rabbanan hold there's no Zika, and therefore it's not such a bad Chalitza, it would pot of the Sarah. The only machlokas, right? Like we assumed before, is that if the effectiveness of a get after one get or a mimer after one mimer, when Leah holds completely ineffective, the Rabbanan hold it would be effective. Amar Amar. So let's analyze this price. Also, mimer bazu, mimer bazu. Leah omer nosen gela rishon macholitzla. You give a get to the first one, you do chalitza there. But also krovaseh. Again, you're also to her. She's both your grusha and both chalutza, and therefore you're also in the krova. Muter krova shniya, the second one. Completely muteris. Michti kaser gam Leah in mimer achar mimer. He holds the second mimer is completely ineffective. Rishon nami does yaben. Even as mimer to one, mimer to the second one. Why can't he follow up the mimer to the first one? Why does he do chalitza? Let him do yimam to her, right? If the second mimer is effective, so then it's a problem. You're really trying to be bonus shnei bottom over here. You have a half kinyan to one, half kinyan to the other. You can't do yibum to one because you have mimer to the second one. But if the mimer is the second mimer is completely ineffective, let him do yibum to the first one. Why does he do chalitza? If we allow him to do yibum to the first one, he'll say, hey, I did mimer the first one, I can do yibum. So the second one also I did mimer, I can do yibum to her. And of course you can't take two co-wives from a brother. You can only take one. You can only buy a echad. I'm a Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan makes the following statement: Shimon, Ben Azai, from Nehemiah. All five of these Tanaim, Kulu, Sril, Hu, Mimer, Kona, Kinyan, Gomer. They all hold Mimer as Kona, Kinyan, Gomer. What does that mean as Kona, Kinyan, Gomer? So I like to say Mimer, Kona, Kinyan, Gomer, meaning it effectuates complete Kinyan Yibum. Like I said, there's two Kinyan, there's a Kinyan Yibum, a Kinyan Nesuin. According to the Chum, they don't agree with that. We're going to explain according to the Chum what they hold Mimer actually accomplishes. But these five Tanaim will hold. And when the Gemara says groups together Tanaim, it usually means we don't hold Allah. Like, we don't hold Allah. We hold like the Chum. Mimer is so strong that it's Kona, Kinyan, Yibum automatically, and all you're left with is a Kinyan Yisuin. Let's explain where we know these Tanaim from. We just said our Mishnah, right? He says, Ein Mimer achar Mimer. So the first one must be a complete Mimer. It must be not a half Kinyan, a whole Kinyan. Therefore, the second Kinyan is ineffective completely. That's Ramliel. Beishamai, Disnan. Shlosha Achin, Shaimim, the Su, and Shtei Achayos is an earlier Mishnah. Again, three brothers, two of them are married to sisters, Vechad Mufna, and the third brother, he's a bachelor. He's 95 years old. He hasn't married. He's not 95. I don't know. He could be 95. Whatever. He never married. Meis Echad, or he wasn't married now. Meis Echad Balei Achayos, one of the husbands of the two sisters died. They were married, the two sisters died. V'asaba Mufna Maimer, the Mufna took her. He had the ability to give him to her. And he did Maimer to into Yibam. He did Maimer. He gave her some money. Gave her a star. Kedushin. V'achach Meis Echad Hasheni. And then the second brother dies, leaving him with a mimer to one of the sisters and a Yevamos, Shemeres Yavam, the other sister. She's waiting Yibum. The one he did mimer to is his wife. She's so his wife that therefore the other one is like an erva, like in the beginning of the Masechta, that if you have an erva falling the contract of Yibum, right, you can't marry two sisters. The second one is an erva. So you're married to the first one, the second one's an erva, she's patr min chalisa yibum. It's so Kona is such a strong kinyan that you don't need a chalisa or yibum. That's Beis Shammai Shita. That would be Beis Shammai. Shimon Desani, I'm going to be Shimon L'chamim, Bias Rishon, Bias Shnia, and a Bia. They have machlokas about a child who's 9 years, a boy who's between the ages of 9 years and 1 day to the age of 13. He's underage, but we know that the Bia of a 9-year-old, he's capable of bia. He's not a gadol, he's still a minor, but his bia is a bia. He could have children potentially when he's 9 years old. So if you have two of these brothers, the Yevamim, the brothers doing Yibam over here are 9-year-old, between 9 and 13. So let's say one of them does bia, and they both do bia. Bia is rishon bia sheni ain't a bia. Mashiach reasons that if the first bia is a bia, 9-year-old bia is a full bia, so the bia, the second one, is irrelevant. In Bias region and a Bia, if the Bia of the first one is not considered a Bia, for Yibum, right, we're talking about Yibum, normally a Bia of a 9-year-old is considered a Bia, but for Yibum, maybe it's not considered a Bia. Bia Sheni Nami in a Bia, so the second one's also a 9-year-old, so therefore Bia is also not a Bia. That Bia is Bentesha, the Kmaimer Shiva Rabbana, we know from other places the Bia of a 9-year-old is like Maimer. It's not a full Kibbutz Yibum, but it is a Kinyan, not a full Kinyan Yisuim, but it is a Kinyan Yibum, it's like a Maimer. The Kamar Rabbi Shimon ain't a bia. He holds it's the first one. If it is a bia, the first one, the second one is ineffective completely. So it must be it's kona kinyan gomer. It's kona at least a kinyan yibum to make the bia of the second one ineffective. Ben Azai, the fourth Tana, the Sani Ben Azai Omer Yesh Maimer Chamaimer B'Shnei Yevama Yevama Achas. Ve'ein Maimer Chamaimer B'Shnei Yevamos Yevama Echad. He says, he agrees partially to Rav Gamliel. He says that if there's two Yevamim and one Yevama, I mean two brothers and only one wife falling from the deceased brother, so if one brother does Maimer, the other brother's Maimer, it's also effective, and he shouldn't be allowed to marry either of the brothers, because, like we said before in the Rabbanan gave Koach to Maimer to two brothers, but he does agree with Gamliel on one aspect, but he says, in the other case, if there's two Yevamim, two co-wives fall in front of one brother, so then ain't Maimer Achar Maimer, because they only gave that power to the brothers, not for each wife. So therefore, if he did Maimer to one, so therefore the second one is completely ineffective, like similar to Gamliel. Rav Nechemia does not. Rav Nechemia Omer Achas Bilav Achas Chalitza Beim Etchil Beim Emsim Masof Ein Acharei Klum. He says, as long when you do Bia, right? We know if you do Chalitza first, there's nothing after Chalitza. There's nothing effective. Even the Rabbanan agree. Nechemia says Bia is like Chalitza. If you do Bia Bein B'Tchila, if you do Bia Yibam with the first one, obviously everything is ineffective after that. But even Be'emso Basov, it's either get and then Bia and Maimer, or Maimer and Bia and get, or Maimer get and Bia. Bia was the last thing, or was in the middle. Ein Acharei Klum. It's effective. Even though it's a Bia Psula, you do a get first to one of the ladies, to one of the Yevamos, and then the co-wife you do Bia to. It's a Bia Psula because you already gave a get to one of them, or you did Maimer to the first one. It's by Bia Psula. The Maimer Shvi Rabbana, the Rabbanan considered in other places, that's like Maimer. Because Sani Ein Acharei Klum, he holds, even though it's a Bia Psula and it's a Maimer, after he did that Maimer, he did it in the middle, anything he did afterwards, he gave a get after that Maimer to a third Yevama, that get is completely ineffective, because even though it's going to be a Psula, it is Kona like Kinyan Gomer, or Kona, it's like a Maimer. Maimer is Kona Kinyan Gomer, it's Kona Kinyan Yibam, and therefore the get afterward is completely ineffective, and therefore it does, it's like you didn't give a get to the third lady, and therefore you wouldn't be usher in the krovos of that third lady. That is the explanation of today's shir. I hope you enjoyed today's shir. You better have enjoyed today's shir, because it was amazing. It was great. It was clear. It was fun. Stick around. We have more Iyun Ben Sion coming up right now.